I welcome all MoonShine fans. Friends, today's lesson will be devoted to creating pages and all approaches to publishing a resource. This is my initial mistake. I wrote down a guide for you where we made a blog on MoonShine too. Nevertheless, it was worth starting with the approaches to publishing resources. How to create pages, how to work through pages, how to add something to pages through a resource, and so on. In addition, the video that I am now filming for you should have been the first in the playlist. However, it seemed to me that these were obvious things. As usual, I was mistaken in my own way, since I constantly work with this. However, today I am correcting myself, and let us close this issue finally. What kind of approaches are they, how to work with them, when, why, what is their purpose? Let us go. So, friends, where does development on MoonShine begin? From the publication of the resource. Yes, I have already said many times that the resource, as a whole, is not required, just like the link to Eloquent MoonShine. Still, in 99% of cases you will work with resources and with Eloquent. In addition, of course, run the command php, artisan, and MoonShine, resource. Okay, next, the name of the resource. In addition, that is exactly what we will be talking about today. Types of resources, approaches to implementing MoonShine sections. We have default, which I think is something you have worked with many times before. Let us take a look at the default resource, say user resource, where it looks like this. It is tied to a specific model and has a set of fields. Our set of fields is displayed on the index page, in the table, on the form page and on the detailed view page. Moreover, you and I, through the fields method, can configure how and where this whole thing will be displayed. If we are talking about a table, an index, or a detail, we do not support decorations and components. Let us say, the same block, the same collapse will be ignored. Only fields will remain. In addition, where to take them out? You and I ask through methods. Hide on index, on detail, on create, on form. On the other hand, show, and so on for each. In general, this approach is taken from Laravel Nova. However, it has both advantages and disadvantages. This is exactly what we will discuss with you now. When is it worth taking this approach, where we only have a resource? If you only use a resource every time, on large resources this class, in addition to having a bunch of responsibilities, will also grow and turn into a huge mess. In addition, it will be hard to read, since there will be fields with such methods. Something is hidden on the index, something is hidden on the detail page. In addition, it will be a horror for the eyes, both for yours and for those who come to your project. Therefore, I categorically do not recommend using one resource class on large resources. However, what are the benefits? Tell me, why is it needed then? Why not just always paginate? Imagine that you have an extremely simple resource, say, for example, a system one with roles, where we have two fields, ID and title. You want to quickly collect this resource, or some resources, models, directories, cities, countries, several fields. It will not be very convenient to publish all 3 pages. You just sketch out these resources, they will be empty, and they will be thin. They threw several fields into the fields method and forgot about it. In all other cases, I recommend that you not be lazy and divide the logic into separate pages. In addition, for now you and I are moving on. In fact, friends, even with the single resource approach, no one stopped you from creating separate classes. Let us say, make the conditions is now on. There is a method where we are now. Where do we make the request? On the detailed page, on the form page, on the index page. Moreover, give classes with a set of fields. By the way, I often create ready-made sets of components and fields. I call this layer component set. Component sets. I am creating a directory. In addition, right here you can create classes with a set of components, in which there will already be a method that will return a set of specific components. Moreover, you can reuse them in different resources, on different pages. The same thing could be done with the help of one resource. In addition, here, depending on the request, return a set of fields. But again, there are a huge number of guys in Laravel who are not yet familiar with PHP. They do not yet have the mentality to figure it out, create some kind of class, put logic into it. Okay, friends, let us not talk about the bad. Let us focus on the right approach. In addition, so far we have drawn a conclusion for ourselves, that we do everything in resources. Moreover, we use these terrible methods, hide on index, hide on detail. Only if our section is small, let us just say, no more than 5 fields. In all other cases, we go the other way. In general, in my projects I try to use these hide on X and show on X methods as little as possible and initially divide everything into pages. As a result, I get a smaller set of problems. Let us move on. We have considered the first approach. In addition, we are immediately waiting for the second one, which in general is the first one, but slightly improved. This is still for the lazy and for those who do not yet know about the existence of the methods that I showed you to determine which page we are currently on. Let us publish it and see what it is like. Okay, I published my resource. In addition, you and I no longer see the fields method. However, we see three new methods: index fields, form fields, and detail fields. In this case, we again will not have to use the hide on detail, form, and so on methods. We will still interact in one resource, but through three methods. As a result, we already know that index fields does not support decorations. In addition, here we simply generate the set of fields that we require. Same thing on the detail page. In detail, let us say this is the same index, and then we will just take it and return here get index fields, or our own set of fields. In addition, we can already implement form fields in our own way with decorations. Once again, we will not use hiding methods in certain sections. However, we still have the same drawback. Our resource will have many responsibilities, and even with a large resource, it will still turn into mush. That is, let us say, if we still have such a small directory, 10 fields, we are too lazy to publish pages, we are still moving along the resource path, then the best way would be to divide it into methods by CRUD page. Okay, let us move on. Another important thought, friends. At the same time, there was a question in the chat. Why have we produced all these approaches? Wouldn't it be better to immediately accustom people to one thing? However, MoonShine 2 is generally testing what users will like best. Still, Laravel users are a unique audience, so we will look into it, but most likely in MoonShine 3 there will only be an approach with a resource and separate pages. Friends, let us move on to the most recommended approach to working with Eloquent, see CRUD. This is a resource with pages. Let us look at it. For now, let us also do my resource. In addition, we will choose one with separate pages. Okay, as a result, we will also receive a resource with you, but it is already very thin. Header, model, and page set. The set of pages can be anything. There may be one page, or there may be 200 of them. However, by default, we generate 3 CRUD pages through the console: index, form, and detailed. You can do the same manually. How are they different from regular pages? The fact is that they inherit the index, form page, and detail page from the box. In addition, the main feature is that these pages have a specified type. Thus, MoonShine will understand under the hood that this is a CRUD page, where to redirect, how to work with it, what fields to take where. Keep in mind that no one is stopping you from using CRUD pages. You can publish your own pages and post them here. In general, implement all the components of the page in your own way, make your own forms, and create your own endpoint for forms, redirects, tables. Everything is as you and your project need it. However, in most cases, we have Eloquent, we have CRUD. Therefore, the set of pages will be as follows. Now, as you can see, we no longer have the fields method in our resource. It has migrated to each of our CRUD pages. If we go to the index page, we see fields here. In addition, we will already declare fields exclusively for the index page. The same for the form and for the detailed one. As for layers, what is this thing? Look, our pages in MoonShine are divided into layers. There is a top level, which is now empty by default on the index page and is located above the buttons. The main level is where we have buttons and tables. In addition, the lower level. In addition, the same for everyone else. In this case, in our modal, let us just open a form. There is a top level with a button, there is a main level with a form, and then a bottom level in this case with a custom component from another package. Friends, let us now practice, publish the resource and replace the user resource that is already present. Let us do it our own way, but through separate pages. Let us choose with pages. Okay, all pages have been published, including the resource, and we have replaced it. Now it looks like this. If we go to users, we will see that our table is empty, the form is empty, and no fields are declared. Now look. Let us go to the index page and let us add say ID. In addition, let there be an email. Okay. Let us go back. We see ID and email on the index page. At the same time, our form and the detailed form are still empty. We configure each page with you differently. As for talking about layers, let us try the same. Let us say the main layer. Okay, we leave what we already have there, although our top layer seems to be empty. In addition, let us add, let there be, I do not know, an action button, make go to. This way. Let us go back, update, and see that we now have a button in the top layer. At the same time, our remaining components are located in the same place as they were. Let us add some line break divider, just to make sure that we can add multiple components. Okay, let us go back and see all of them on our page. On the other hand, for example, we are moving to the main layer. In general, we do not want you to see buttons here, see a table. In addition, let us say take cards builder. Let us pass some simple array. Say ID2, title, cut code. Let us create a set of fields. Moreover, since we have cards builder, let us indicate that our title is the title field. Okay, we will be back. Let us update and no longer see the table. We see the card that we just implemented. That is, friends, let us capture this moment with you. We need layers in order to quickly change some area, and we did not have to take all the components, copy them from the page and paste our own somewhere. Although you can also use this approach. In addition, let us say remove all these layers, use the method with components. In addition, here it is easy to just take it and start drawing the way you see it. Let us say we just take the text field and place it like this. Okay. Return. Moreover, we have a page with one input. As a result, you have layout builder. In addition, you can implement the entire wrapper for yourself. In addition, you can also implement the content part for yourself, however you like. We just made methods for you to do it quickly and conveniently. I mean layers. Okay, that is sorted out. Let us move on. Now, friends, I want to show you an interesting method, but for index pages, and indeed on other CRUD pages, which you can use. It will touch upon the topic of the main table. If, say, you need to change a table component to something of your own. Right in the box, we have cards builder. Moreover, we can use it now. On the other hand, you can create your own component and render the post in your own way. To do this, we need to use the items component method, which by default returns the table builder. If we go inside, we will see the table builder. Nevertheless, let us go ahead and replace it with cards builder. We are already receiving items from the resource. In addition, all the fields that we announced on this page. Okay. All we need to do here is to map the fields from items to the cards builder cards, since the cards do not know where the title is and so on. Let us set the title to email, since right now we do not have many fields. We are getting an error. What is it? The fact is that table builder and cards builder are not tied to Eloquent. They work with arrays, and to indicate that we want to work with models, we need to use casts. Casting by models is already implemented in MoonShine, and all we need to do is specify cast, then this get resource, get model cast. We will already take the model cast class, and take the model from the resource, and everything will work for us. As a result, we will update and get cards builder instead of the table. Again, here you are already limited by your imagination. You can add, say, a switch, display as a table, display as cards, save somewhere in the session and change the appearance of the main component on your page. Friends, I know you love examples. I will show you an interesting example from another project about the main component in cards builder. In this case, we did not just change the table to cards, but we also made it work with filters. Everything is filtered with us. In addition, additionally added sorting. Just what I told you, that you can change components and, say, change the appearance of components on the page, saving, say, somewhere in the session. In this case, we have sorting. We change the sorting, we change it asynchronously. When we change it, it is immediately applied. In addition, let us see what it looks like under the hood. Under the hood, we see the same items component method. In addition, we see that cards builder has also replaced table builder. There is more logic here, since there are WebSockets and so on. Two methods have also been changed. What is the main component of the page called? In addition, what JS events should be called when it changes. It will just twitch when we post a form for filtering or sorting. In addition, it is not table builder that will change. Accordingly, cards builder. What else is interesting? Look, the main layer has been changed. I added an additional sort component to it. What we actually have here is just a method that returns select. Select sorted by creation date and ID. In addition, it contains onChange method. That is, when we change the select state, the resort resource method is triggered, the update event of the main cards builder component is called, and its sorting is based on receiving the sorting key from the session. If we go to the resource, we will see the resort method, which twitches on change. In addition, which simply writes the current column by which to sort into the session. As a result, with such simple manipulations, we changed the index page to suit ourselves, without even creating a completely empty custom one, where we would have to generate each component ourselves. Friends, let us continue through the pages. In addition, let us say we have the following situation. You already have a resource. You want to split it into pages. You do not want to re-record. How to immediately create a page that we will have from the CRUD type. That is, index form page, detail page. So that you do not have to manually add this complex extends. Then the class that we need. To do this, when publishing a page PHP Artisan MoonShine page, you indicate its name. Then select custom. That is, this is not a CRUD page. It can be with any content. There are no layers to it. You customize it in your own way. Either you choose, this is an index form or a detail. Let us say you select form page. You see that it is being created for you. Go to it and see the same page. It inherits from form page and has layers. Well, and accordingly the fields method. Friends, another interesting point and interesting essence. Let us go back again. There can be as many pages in a resource as you like. In addition, the resource itself as a whole may not exist. Maybe just a page. In addition to the pages, custom pages that we just looked at, you can quickly generate a page without creating a class. The same goes for the menu. The same goes for resources. To do this, you need to use the view page class. Okay. Make. Next, indicate its title. Let us say my title. If it is necessary to indicate its slug alias, I do not know, let it be my title. In addition, let us leave it like this for now. She is our first. In addition, by default in our menu if we add a resource, the link will be to its first page in the list. That is, the 0 element is just the view page. As we see now, we will move. In addition, we immediately get to my title, the page that we created for you. In addition, we have it with the alias my title, the one that we indicated to you. Right from here, you and I can generate breadcrumbs. Let us say add something of your own.
Update and our breadcrumbs have changed.
In addition, the most interesting thing, we can change the content part with you. Let us use the setContentView method. In addition, as you can see, we simply indicate the path to view. In addition, it will be rendered for us. Of course, my page is even more so with a space. I do not have one now. Let us create. Let us go to the resources views directory. In addition, let us make new PHP my title blade. Okay. In addition, here we will say some hello world. Let us go back. Let us update. Still getting an error since I named it my page and not my title. I do not know why I decided on my title. Let us go back. Let us rename it. Let us update. We see the page. We see the contents of the blade file. In general, if you do something super custom. In addition, you do not need the main layout from MoonShine. You can simply make a custom view right here. Moreover, just render your view. Here it is so empty. Next, change its layout, and so on. On the other hand, leave set content view. However, just add set layout. In addition, indicate your layout. If we take for example the documentation for MoonShine, here we have it here. All pages are built using the view page class. Since in general nothing changes there except the content. In addition, we simply transfer blade files in the form of content. In some situations, this can be an interesting solution to problems with page implementation. Okay friends, I think some of you might have a question. However, what should I do? I still want porridge. On the other hand, my resource is small. I do not want to publish any pages. However, at the same time, right from the resource, as, say, it was in the first version. I want to add a component to a certain page in a certain layer. What should I do in this case? Let us look at this example. It can also be implemented through the resources on boot method. Then get the required page. Moreover, add a component to it. We will also consider the magic trait, which allows you to do the same. Let us go. Okay, create the onBoot method. Then inside we can supplement the pages with you. Change resource. OnBoot is called now when our request is currently in the current resource. That is, in this case, onBoot user of the resource. Boot resources, articles and others will not be called. Okay, let us move back. Moreover, what do we need to do here with you? We specify this. Then we say get pages. We have a collection of pages. We can get all the pages. Let us say take some find by type. Yes, just the types that I told you, page type. Let us see what they are. Page type, detail, form, and index. On the other hand, let us say search by slug from the URL. On the other hand, we can do it through quick methods. In addition, let us say specify index page. This way. Thus, under the hood we will already have get pages, find page by type, index page. In addition, we will have an index page object here. Next, friends, we need to use the push to layer method. In addition, we can add a component directly from the resource. On the other hand, a set of components in a specific layer. Let us make top. That is the top layer, like this through enums. Then we indicate which component we want to add. Well, let there be an action button again so as not to bother. Make. Let it be top button. In addition, some URL. We are updating the page with you. In addition, we see the top button. We pushed it directly from the resource. Let us also look at the trait I was talking about. You can write your own components. Tell users in the instructions that just add this trait to the resource. In addition, it will automatically push certain components from your package. To do this, let us look at the trait from the access rights package. What he really is. Here we have the boot method. Then the name trait. That is, the same as it is implemented in Eloquent models, when we have the boot method. In addition, we can connect trait. Then create the boot method inside. In addition, the name trait. In addition, it will be called in models. The same is true for resources. We are simply adding trait with you. Inside, we implement the boot method according to the naming convention. In addition, we will add the component inside. In this case, we see the approach through find by type. The same as just form page. In addition, push to layer to the lower level component based on access rights. This component and this approach in the admin resource. If we fail, then this is where it is displayed. In addition, if we look at the MoonShine user resource itself, we will just see this trait here. Friends, let us also not ignore the last approach with an empty resource. Let us publish it and look at it. In this case, we no longer see that this is our model resource. That is, an empty resource is not tied to models at all. Here you can implement your pages. You will have some kind of storage of your own. The resource will simply serve as a grouping for these pages. In addition, contain some general logic for these pages if required. This is a more unconventional approach when you do not need models. On the other hand, they are needed but in some other form. You can use it and configure the pages and the resource itself completely in your own way. Well, returning once again to the fact that our resource is not always required. You can simply add pages without a resource directly to the menu. Let us say item menu. In addition, here you will have your own new My Page. Moreover, it will also be displayed. On the other hand, let us say you can simply add view page directly to the item menu, what we have already worked with. In addition, quickly configure the page like this. Set title, say hello. Next, content view, layout. Everything you need. Return. A menu item will appear. When you navigate, you will receive a fast page. Friends, and finally, some important points that you might not know. If you need to publish some page, declare the page. On the other hand, a resource. However, do not add it to the menu. Let us say it is not on the menu. However, there is a button somewhere. Moreover, you can quickly go to it. To do this, you need to use the methods in the service provider, resources, and declare all those resources that we have, but not in the menu. In addition, the same with the pages method. Also an additional nuance. If you are building the main menu through a function depending on the request, as in our blog, when we only have an article section in the web part. In addition, the rest is only in the admin panel. You will also need to manually declare all the resources from the menu in the resources and, accordingly, pages method. If there are any. Friends, let us answer another important question. Is it possible to render pages outside of MoonShine? To answer this, you just need to look at how MoonShine himself does it. Open Page Controller. Here we have it here. Moreover, it looks like this. We have a page obtained from request. In addition, we return it immediately. It implements the renderable interface. In addition, Laravel renders it calmly. You can do the same thing in your controllers. Let us play and see how it works. Let us create a page. In addition, let us add something to it in the components so that it is not completely empty. Well, let there be a text field. Okay, now let us go to the controller. In addition, let us do the following. Take it and make a return. Okay, then let us go to the browser and open the main page. As you can see, we have the main page of the home controller, but we just displayed page. Here we have it right here with the layout, with all the components from MoonShine at once. In addition, right in the controller, if you need, you can change the layout, title, and so on. Let us say get an instance through the make method. Change title if necessary. Replace the layout with your own and so on. We can do the same thing here with the view page class. Let us see how it works. Return. View page. Make. Let there be some title. Next, let us make a content view. We will have a welcome. We will also give you the date. Okay, let us go back and refresh. In addition, we see the main page but with the layout from MoonShine. Let us change it a little and say set layout. In addition, install the Layouts app. As far as I remember, it is located in this directory and is called exactly that. Yes, we immediately changed the layout with you. In addition, we got the result that we had without the page class from MoonShine. Thus, you can easily create pages, add components to them, change headings, breadcrumbs, layout. In addition, render them not only in MoonShine, but also in your controllers. This is done extremely simply. Friends, since we are talking about controllers, I think you saw in the documentation that you could also generate a MoonShine controller. Let us see what it is and what benefits it gives us. It is also created simply by Artisan MoonShine controller. Next is the name, let it be my controller. In addition, in the end, you and I get a class. Here we have it here. Right away, there is a foot cloth with an example. With sugar that is under the hood. However, let us take a slightly different path now. Let us take our home controller and replace it with the MoonShine controller. Here we have it here. In addition, in the end, we are removing this stuffing from page. Moreover, we change the helper view function to this view from our MoonShine controller. Let us return to the browser, update and get the same thing, but in the layout wrapper from MoonShine. Thus, by generating the MoonShine controller, by the way, it is located by default. When we do it through Artisan MoonShine controllers, we already have a set of sugar, a set of methods that helps to work with MoonShine. One of them is view, to quickly render the page without having to think about the layout. In this case, we simply pass blade and what we render there. We can do the same with you with notice. Let us say toast. In addition, bring out some. Here we have it here. If you are making a controller that should return JSON in the response. Also in the MoonShine controller, a JSON method allows us to quickly return a notification in response that will have a structure that MoonShine understands and quickly display it. A structure for the data, for redirecting, if required, for the notification type. In addition, the newly generated controller gives us an understanding of how to work with a request from MoonShine, quickly get the current page, the current resource. Well, what we have already seen is how to render pages, change the layout, and so on. Yes, friends, of course there is still a lot that can be discussed by resources, by pages. However, I hope that I conveyed the main thing to you. If not, then be sure to write in the comments what else would be interesting to learn about MoonShine, what points are unclear, where you would like more practice. We will definitely make such guides. In addition, that is all for now, friends. Thank you for watching. Despite the fact that this is a guide to MoonShine, I will be extremely glad to see your like and comment. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video on the MoonShine channel.